Just bring it, bitch.
People, we are here and we are live. Welcome back to Unpopular Reviews Top 5, Top 5, Top 5, Top 5, Top 5. And tonight, y'all see the Latino Heat on the screen. We got a hot Latino with us tonight also. So, people, let's talk about it. Top 5 Eddie Guerrero matches. I'm one of your hosts this evening, Mike Knox, the chief of staff. I am joined by Wrestling Doll. You changed your name, Dahlia Dark. All right, Dahlia. How you doing, Dahlia?
Well, that's my valet / manager name.
Okay.
It's my valet / manager name. Dahlia, like Black Dahlia. But you can still call me Wrestling Doll. It's around the same thing.
I mean, I was about to introduce him, but I guess he had a phone call that he had to take mid-show. I thought he was like queuing up some kind of ringtone for himself, you know? And I was like, what is he doing? But we're going to talk top 5 WWE matches, or not just WWE, WCW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AAA. Eddie Guerrero has been a stablemate in wrestling for over 30 years. He unfortunately left us back in 2005, but he did not leave us without having memories upon memories upon memories. And to me, he is arguably one of the greatest to ever do it inside the ring. I'm talking about he is in my top 5 of all time inside the squared circle. Put him up against anybody. If he ain't above the 4 I got in my head right now, then they're not going against Eddie Guerrero. But let's go ahead and bring back in our third member for the evening, the executive consultant. How you doing today, sir?
I'm all right.
Huh?
I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm all right. All right,
Hey,
well, let's just get started.
right
I'm going to start off with you, since you have, obviously, he has good Latino Heat, Miss Dahlia, Doc. Executive consultant, number 5 for you on your Eddie Guerrero top 5 matches.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not even ready. So I'm just going to steal people's because that's just...
You better not steal what I already have in my face.
Wow.
That's exactly where I'm going,
But
bro.
don't put up no picture then, because you cannot go first. You can't put up a picture before
Anyway,
I put a picture.
number 5 is instant classic, and that is Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio from Halloween Havoc 1997. This pretty much put both people, including Rey Mysterio, on the map. Very good match. So good that they put it in the storyline of WWE 2K. I can't remember which one. I think it was 22. And it actually brought eyes to Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, for me personally, let alone everybody else. So my number 5, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc 1997.
Dark Dahlia, you're number 5. I don't even know. I don't even want to
I
count
love
here.
how he was going to pull an Eddie Guerrero and steal from us. I love how he was going to do that just now.
He's cheating and stealing, so he's definitely lying. He's been prepared. Executive consultant is always prepared.
Interesting. Anyways, my number 5 is going to be Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero for the WWE title at No Way Out 2004. Now, this is a match that could be considered an instant classic to some people, not to mention brought us one of the most heartfelt and greatest promos of all time when Brock was getting in his face talking about his drug use and how he just broke it down and just stopped being Eddie the character and was Eddie the person. But that match was great right up until the DDT onto the gold and the frog splash to where he pinned him for that victory. I love it. What more can we say?
Listen, going right into it. I'm not lying. I'm not chilling. And I'm still going to start stealing some things around here. And one thing I'm going to steal is the executive consultant's energy, because he has none. So I'm going to calm down to tell you, listen, Eddie Guerrero and this man right here, Kurt Angle, the greatest in-ring technician, in my opinion, that exists in professional wrestling, Kurt Angle. Him and Eddie Guerrero, WrestleMania 20. This is the epitome, the embodiment of Eddie Guerrero doing what he does best. Some of my favorite moments from Eddie, I don't know, a lot of people probably put this number 1, number 2, number 3 in their list. It's back here for me because I just felt I've seen better matches from Eddie as well as Kurt Angle together in the ring. And I have a future one coming up later in the show also in this top 5. So for me, number 5, it was the role that was just a great role at WrestleMania 20, seeing Eddie Guerrero get that WWE Championship. Now, number 5 for me, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 20. Executive consultant, back to you.
See, my number 4 is going to be a nice, simple one. It's parking lot brawl. I feel like this is the parking lot brawl that actually made more people look at. Is that right?
Jonathan Horatio Rodriguez, Tom Brady, Cena.
Yeah, there you go. Made more people look at parking lot brawls. It is the standard bearer for parking lot brawls. It's funny how most of the stuff that you're going to hear me talk about Eddie Guerrero is going to be standard bearer, because that's what he is. Eddie Guerrero is one of those type of characters, one of those type of wrestlers, one of those type of people who is responsible when you hear somebody say, who are some of your influences? Eddie Guerrero is one of them, just like Shawn Michaels. There's one of them. Kurt Angle is getting up there. Some people you can just see. And Eddie Guerrero is definitely one of them, especially for the Latino people, but just in people overall. But the parking lot brawl, Eddie Guerrero versus John Cena for the United States Championship. It's actually a very small favorite of mine.
I'm gonna say, if this was the one from SmackDown, this is one of my favorites as well, and very, very underrated. It was a shocking match. One of the matches you see on TV, you go, wow, they actually went out like that and put on that kind of performance. But that was, to me, the credit of Eddie and John Cena wanting to also be in that spotlight and earn his keep as well in a ring with somebody as great. Well, not even in a ring, but in a match with somebody as great as Eddie Guerrero. Wrestling Doll, you're number 4, Eddie Guerrero.
Number 4 on my list. No surprise, it's another PLE match, which happens a lot in my top 5. And I just watched this one like about 50 minutes ago. Batista versus Eddie Guerrero for the World Heavyweight title at No Mercy 2005. Being one of his last matches ever. May his soul rest in peace. Would have been 56 today. Would have arguably have been one of the greatest to still keep going if he hadn't unfortunately passed. And like I said before, it would have been one that they would have called in, so Roman could have fought for the Undisputed Championships, would have beaten Eddie. But this match was absolutely amazing. I enjoyed every second of it. Even if Eddie didn't win, people were rooting for him. It was that underdog moment that, from what I had seen of Eddie Guerrero, which when more people talk Eddie, they talk about more of the tactics he used to secure his wins through his lying, cheating, and stealing. But this was one of those matches that I had seen where I actually found him being the underdog that I thoroughly enjoyed. And I knew when I was going to look up some matches to watch, I was going to try to make sure not to make almost all of them Eddie versus Ray, even though that's one of the greatest rivalry storylines that we've ever had in the WWE. So Eddie, Batista, No Mercy 2005 for the World Heavyweight title.
I'll tell you one thing, Wrestling Doll, to just have a time machine, and you can go back into the mid 90 years with him right there. Their battle was even better than it was in WWE. Number 4 for me, 1997. Eddie was fighting for his stolen United States Championship for the pride of WCW at the time, the only NWO sponsored pay-per-view. That's crazy. You gotta understand this, that the NWO was a faction that people thought was so real that they actually manufactured their own quote-unquote pay-per-view. Guerrero had to combat against this guy named Six, X-Pac. Y'all know who he is. And this match, listen, you can talk about it all the time. I'm going to speak about it right now. And that's the years of WCW in that cruiserweight division. And how, yes, the NWO was the story. It's what brought you there every single Monday, but them luchadors, you're watching the likes of Eddie Guerrero, Juventud Guerrero, Rey Mysterio Jr., Kidman, for what it's worth, Lash LaRue, Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko, who I'm not even a fan of, goes on and on and on and on. That division was amazing to see, and at that time, it was amazing. Number 4 for me, 6, not X-Pac, versus Eddie Guerrero at NWO pay-per-view. Number 3 for you before we take a commercial break here, executive consultant. Number 3 for you are not ready.
You should take a commercial break now.
Okay, well, I didn't want to take a commercial break now. Does that mean you don't have your 3 ready?
No, it means 5 for commercial 3.
Right, but that's when you're hosting, but I'm hosting, so I need your number 3s, please, sir, so we can go into the commercial.
Please run a commercial. I need you to run a commercial.
Then just say you need me to run a commercial. Just say that.
There we go. Charmaine, is Ricochet facing Logan Paul at SummerSlam? Yes, that's what they're building towards, Charmaine. No doubt about it. Whether you want to see it and the wrestling community wants to see it is another story, but obviously there's going to be a lot of spots here, and let's be real. Logan Paul's been taking some heavy L's the last few times you've seen him at pay-per-views.
This match is going to be one that's not for your technical wrestlers, but it's going to be a lot of spots in this match. I think it's going to be very entertaining.
It's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be a spectacle. You're going to see these guys flying all over the ring. You're going to see them just do all these amazing feats. And I just wanted to piggyback on something you were saying, BDC. It was about Ricochet, Logan. He's been taking a lot of L's. That's what they have Ricochet in there for. Ricochet is somebody that he could take the L. I mean, I didn't mean to say it like that. I mean,
No, yes,
no, I didn't. No, just
this man is totally in there to take an L. They said Ricochet, make
Yeah,
this
but
man.
it's not
We
gonna
we need somebody to lose to Logan Paul, but still make him look good in the process.
Yeah, and
If
Ricochet's
it's not
that
going to be
dude.
Dolph Ziggler, it's going to be Ricochet.
What is Dolph Ziggler?
Vince got on the phone like, Ricochet, I need you to do me a favor, buddy. Listen, pal, you're going to make Logan Paul look like $1 million here, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you messed that up all up. First of all, he called and said, hey, how would you like to actually be on a PLE card in the one-on-one match?
Oh my goodness.
All that it took. Check out the wrestling show to be determined when it's coming back on, but always a good time with Stefan Urkel and executive consultant. But we are back. Eddie Guerrero's top 5 matches of all time, according to us here at Unpop Review Wrestling. And after Unpop Review Wrestling, guys, if you are an entertainment fan, it is October, Scaretober, whatever you want to call it. We are doing our horror movies picked by the staff. And tonight we got Hellraiser. So make sure you come by and check it out. And then after Hellraiser, we're going to continue to honor one of the greats of all time in comedy, Mr. Jim Carrey, as he has announced his retirement. So we are finishing up our Jim Carrey tribute month as well and giving you a banger, Fun with Dick and Jane. So check that out as well. But we are here now talking Eddie Guerrero top 5. We are down to number 3, executive consultant. Are you ready now? All right, what you got for number 3?
All right, number 3 for me, it was a little bit of a toss-up. I could pick this and something else, and I decided to go with this one and put the other one in an honorable mention, but it's going to be for the WWE Tag Team Championship match. And normally I'd like to go with one-on-one matches, but I'm going to go with the tag team.
This man is cheating.
Bam!
This
Right
man
here,
is-
Los Guerreros versus Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. I remember this is one of my favorite tournaments ever. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship, World WWE Tag Team Championship tournament on SmackDown back in 2003. This was just 2002, 2003. This was just a great tournament, and it led to 3 of, I'm not going to call them the greatest teams of all time. I refuse to do something like that at this moment because none of these teams last, except for the Los Guerreros. But the matches that these teams put on, intertwined with each other, was absolutely amazing without the tables, ladders, and chairs. I remember I could watch them to this day, and this was a great matchup, and I'm happy to talk about it. And that is my number 3.
Number 3 for you, my lady.
Well, I'm going to say I wasn't expecting a match with Chris Benoit getting brought up since, well, we all know why, but I actually, for the first time ever on my top 5 anything, I actually found a non-pay-per-view match that I'm actually putting up on this list, and that is Edge versus Eddie Guerrero no DQ match on the September 26th episode of SmackDown in 2002. Watching Edge, a.k.a. the King of Ladders, the Master of Ladders, as they like to call him on commentary, go up against Eddie, one of the times where the people were against Eddie. This match was awesome. The ref getting knocked out was interesting to see, but I just watched this one for the first time, literally 20 minutes ago. I enjoyed it completely. It was the first time I ever enjoyed watching a non-pay-per-view match and felt like it could have been on a pay-per-view match, which was said to be one of the best matches in SmackDown history.
We'll get no argument out of me there, and I actually thought executive consultant, because he said he was going to cheat. You don't know because he lies and cheats and steals. So I don't know about the stealing part, but my pick. So at number 3 for me, because upon this top 5s, I stayed out last week with Dolph Ziggler, one of my favorites of all time. I could not miss Eddie Guerrero. and I could not miss the chance about this. And executive consultant talked about the tag teamness of the tournament and how that went and how things went, but it built teams. And again, this is Unpop Review, so unpopular opinion. Let's get over things that happen. We're talking about inside the square circle. Chris and Kurt Angle together, probably the greatest tag team of all time could be if you were to put them together forever as a tag team. Okay, then you got Rey Mysterio and Edge, which is, first of all, those are my favorite tag team titles of all time in the history of wrestling. I love those blue SmackDown tag team titles versus Los Guerreros. And at this point in this match, you're watching, you're like, there's no way those guys win this match. And it was just an amazing match. Chris, Kurt, Edge, Eddie, Chavo, who gets no respect, for whatever reason it is. But man, my number 3 right there. At this time, I believe it's honorable mentions in the program. So take honorable mentions, then we'll take a commercial break, go to our 2 and our 1, and wrap you guys up for this evening. So I'll start us off, if that's all right, with honorable mentions. And one of them for me that I had to bring, y'all kind of brought a couple of them up already, but which is the SmackDown one with John Cena was on my list. You brought up Batista match as well. Wrestling Dog, but you brought up also Brock Lesnar. These are all great honorable mentions that were on my list, but I have to give credit where credit is due. I hate Dean Malenko. He's never entertaining to me, but Eddie made him look good back in ECW, 1995, when ECW to me was worth still watching at the time, right? Or giving a look-see, being in the Philadelphia area, that's what you kind of gravitated to. That's what came on, what'd you call it? Access TV back then, executive consultant, what it was. And then also a Monday Night Raw episode, him versus The Rock back in 2002, that was. And then obviously the first time I ever laid, huh?
You talking about Spike TV?
No, it wasn't. ECW went on Spike TV back then. I'm talking about this was like whatever.
They won a national network.
No, they were on whatever came on in Philadelphia only at the time. For a while, I just said Access TV, whatever. And I didn't mean the channel Access TV. I meant like remember you would watch like your hip hop show on a Saturday night kind of thing. It was like on that channel. It was actually crazy to me. But
I don't know. We can find out later.
Jushin Thunder Liger, 1996, New Japan
or
Pro Wrestling.
Thunder Liger.
Jushin Thunder Liger, as I said, amazing match. Just that's when I said, "Yo, who is this little guy out here doing these things looking like from Cheech and Chong?" So those are my honorable mentions. Wrestling Doll, who you got? He looked like one of Cheech and Chong with had the mullet going on. He's what he was. Nacho Libre to his fullest.
Well, it's not completely wrong about that. I have a couple honorable mentions. I have the Fatal 4-Way from Armageddon 2004 as one of my honorable mentions. And my other one would be WCW Starrcade 97 with Guerrero versus Dean Malenko.
Chris, higher exalted one that stands to correct us.
This is already mentioned, so I'm just going to put the pictures up and you'll understand why.
I got Richard Campbell because I really don't know.
Okay.
Let's do it. I tell you what. The person who I think is doing very well, even though he lost the championship, is actually one Austin Theory. I think Austin Theory has definitely stepped up his game. I think he actually is the reason why they got 153 million views and not The Rock.
No. What? How much coke have you been doing? What?
I don't drink
what?
soda. No. I don't drink soda. So here's the thing.
No, he's still drunk from last night because
not at all. I didn't even drink last night.
That's bullshit. That's that bullshit. Yeah, all right.
Playing the part of dice. Playing the part of dice. Look, Austin Theory is that man. You put The Rock and Stone Cold with that guy. Come on, they know there's something special in him. And you put The Rock in there with any other person in WWE today, it would not have created the magic that it did with Austin Theory because Austin Theory knows how to put The Rock over, and that's what he did last night.
You're going to say that about Grayson Waller, too, right?
Grayson Waller is the future. Grayson Waller.
Jack, you all right? You dead? Jack just broke his neck.
Previously on the Mike Knox Show.
A successful cash in at all. He could do that, but I don't see him being the one to take the title off Seth freaking Rollins.
Well, you know what? Moving on from that, we were tribute to this match. Everybody says, I say, no! I don't think he's a megastar. I don't think he's going to last the test of time. I hope that I'm wrong.
What did you name John Cena? What is John Cena's
Jonathan Horatio Rodriguez, Tom Brady Cena.
That dude sounds like someone who should be fighting Goku. I mean,
I'm all for everyone's in their opinion, but like LA Knight should be the one to take it off Roman. I'm like, no, he's not. No. Matter of fact, no.
I had to play that clip behind your guys' clip from the show because I sure do think Austin Theory was the reason why I had so many people to pop for that. So I'm with you there. You see, they didn't bring him out there with that guy who's not a megastar. But we are here. We are talking Eddie Guerrero top 5 matches of all time. And we are here right now paying a tribute. Today is his birthday, I believe, as well. Wrestling Dog just said, is that correct?
I'm checking now. I think it was a few days ago.
Yeah, I think it was in this month. Anyway, we're paying tribute to Eddie Guerrero, and we are down to number 2. So, executive consultant, number 2.
There's certain wrestlers that are trendsetters. Certain wrestlers that are responsible for wrestlers being who they are today, who they will be tomorrow. One of which is Eddie Guerrero. In that generation, I think the other is the person he main evented WrestleMania 20 with, and that is Kurt Angle. This match I was looking so forward to because the way these two worked before, you knew that they were going to put on a fire match at WrestleMania 20. And my God, did they. These two never had a bad match. They had excellent chemistry. Eddie Guerrero had chemistry with everybody, and Kurt Angle does not know what a bad match looks like. And it was proven this night in 2004. WrestleMania 20, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero.
Wrestling Doll, number 2.
Okay, well, I just checked. His birthday was on the 9th, so it was this past Monday. That's why it got brought up, the idea of doing a top 5 Eddie's matches in honor of his birthday that just passed. My number 2 is actually mentioned very early on in the show by the executive consultant, Ray versus Eddie in WCW Halloween Havoc 97. That match, like he said, it put them both on the map, especially Ray. Not to mention, we got one of the cleanest and best-looking DDTs I've ever seen personally in my lifetime, which is just a couple years of watching wrestling. And it was a great match. I enjoyed it. I mean, you can't go wrong with that match. And the fact that they also put then the storyline for W2K was amazing. If a match is that good and it gets put in a video game, you know you did something right.
That match was so good, I had you coughing. I
had you coughing.
That's why.
Number 2 for me, you always hear me say next WrestleMania 3 is my favorite. To me, it's the best wrestling match I've ever seen between between Macho Man Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I think the second one's up there, but that I think as far as the speed of a match, it was RVD versus Jeff Hardy at Invasion, and I think it was called Invasion pay-per-view. But next to that, you say Eddie Guerrero and him never had a bad match. Eddie Guerrero and Rob Van Dam never had a bad match. The Battle of the Frog Splash, which to me, still to this day, no one does a better frog splash than RVD. Just keep it what it is. Rob Van Dam. The whole effing show, the reason why HCW does not stand for extremely crappy wrestling was because of that guy right there. But him and Eddie Guerrero, man, oh man, my, oh my, oh my. I just absolutely love that match 100%. Just putting this list together, I had to have it. It's my number 2, and I'm not knocking nobody's number 1, but him and RVD Backlash 2002 was just phenomenal. Number 1 for you, executive consultant.
You know, Eddie Guerrero, once again, doesn't have bad matches. This man had an underrated match with The Rock that should have been mentioned. Very good match with Ric Flair that should have been mentioned. I mean, always, Chris Jericho too, always had good matches. My number 1, though, was somewhat mentioned earlier. When I mean somewhat mentioned earlier, I mean that it was announced earlier, but it was from a different year. And most people will probably say their 1997 match was the best one. But my opinion, Their 2005 ladder match was my favorite one, and the custody of Dominic ladder match. Why? Because it was so heated, the concept. I remember, because this is when I just started watching wrestling again. Because actually, believe it or not, I stopped watching wrestling for a while. And I started watching wrestling, and I said, what the F is this? That's what I looked at. Like, what the F is this? This is stupid. It's like Judy Bagwell on a pole match or something. It's just so freaking stupid. I was just so mad. The storyline made no sense. But Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio sold it. Sold the hell out of it. And the match delivered. One of my favorite 101 ladder matches. Still, to this day, I can watch this match anytime. One of my favorite SummerSlam matches. Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. And more importantly than all that, this is what got started the greatest NXT North American champion of all time.
All the times.
Dominic
Dirty
Mysterio started, and he'll tell you, he said it a couple weeks ago. He's been in the business for over 20 years now because he started in this match.
The match to this day, I still say that he is the father, is Eddie Guerrero to Dominic Mysterio. Wrestling Dog, you're number one.
I'm going to ignore the fact that both of you agree that Dominic is supposedly the greatest North American champion ever. Y'all lost your minds for that one. But
you know there's a lot of us that believe that, right? There's a lot of us out there.
I'm talking about in the UPR family, okay? Not everybody in the world, okay? They're not my
believes
concern.
it.
Does it matter?
You're the one that said it. Now it doesn't matter.
It don't matter what the other people think of in the world right now. That's not what matters right now. When I said that about Dominic, I was talking about everybody in UPR.
Anyway, she Latino as fuck. What's your number one?
Steven, Michael, Chris, all believe. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, all the fathers in our chat. Anyways, you basically said my number one, Dominic.
Because we're not deadbeats.
Anyways, Ray versus Eddie in the ladder match, the custody for Dominic, SummerSlam in 2005. This was my first ever Eddie Guerrero match that I had ever seen. I had no idea that they were going to basically make this whole storyline like a Jerry Springer Maury thing with the whole figuring out who the father is and all that fun stuff. I had never seen that kind of storyline happen, but I was very entertained, and it was interesting seeing Dominic come out of the ring trying to shake the ladder to help Ray win the match, and then having Vicky come out, even though apparently she came out late, for her spot to come out in the match, and she nearly really injured Eddie during that spot where she pushed the ladder. But regardless, this match is one of my all-time favorites. It was a classic. It's a banger. It's a 5-star instant match classic. Could be match of the year back then. Could be match of the year now. Could be match of the year 20 years in the future. I don't care what anybody else will say.
And that's because she Latino is AF. Okay, she told you she bringing the heat.
Latino is AF.
Well,
Who's
I'm
that?
Latina.
Dirty Dom Mysterio.
Dirty Dom. Listen,
Dirty Dom
guys.
Mysterio.
Top 5 for me, running it back. Number 5, Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 20. Number 4 for me, 6 versus X-Pac, 1997. Number 3 for me, Survivor Series. Just love this match to death. Number 2 for me, Backlash 2002. And number 1 for me has been year 5 and year 2, but it's my number 1. This match stole the year. Should have been match of the year. Not sure if it won match of the year. It's not the things I look into, but this match at Halloween Havoc, title versus mask, it's just to this day. And you know what's funny? I didn't realize you really knows it until you said it. This match did put them on the map. To me, I was already such a big fan of what they were doing. I had already caught wind to what they were doing, but at that moment in the world, we didn't have the social media and internet as we have today. That was the talk. That was the talk where you went. If you was a wrestling fan, you talked about Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio Jr., the outfit in itself that Ray won, it stole the show. It actually stole Halloween Havoc. Okay. It was definitely the match of the night. I remember that as well. So listen, guys, that's it for us here. That is the Wrestling Doll. That is the record consultant, the executive consultant. I am Mike Knox. Catch me on the Mike Knox Show and catch us next live on Unpopular You Entertainment, celebrating and paying tribute to one Jim Carrey.
You care.
Because you
That's why
wrote
you said it 3 times in a row.
Because you wrote
because
it.
you care.
Because you
when I
wrote
went
it.
to NXT and everybody was on their feet booing, they
Booing.
cared.
They care.
I couldn't even hear it. And it
You
wasn't
care
Yeah,
enough
they
to boo.
watched the
You
news
care
and
enough
he
to
did.
boo.
He gave Ilya Dragunov a great birthday present.
Oh, please. We are out of here, people.
Bye.
Eddie Guerrero's top 5. Eddie Guerrero's top 5. Eddie Guerrero's top 5. We're out of here, y'all. Peace.